Dinovich here again, my fellow wingers, and welcome back to the Inswinger. With the world having much love for football, the need for bigger and better stadiums has always resulted in some iconic infrastructures being built, especially in Europe, where several of them have become some of the world's greatest grounds. These stadiums provide the backdrop to the games that we watch week in, week out, and it is the atmosphere, the history, and the presence of these gigantic structures that adds that critical touch to the game that we love. I mean, think about it. A classical rivalry matchup between Liverpool and Manchester United could never be the same on a regular Sunday League pitch as opposed to being at Anfield or Old Trafford. Anyways, let us know your favorite ground in the comments, and here's the Inswinger's 10 most iconic stadiums in Europe. Ten. Celtic Park. The home of Celtic is the largest football stadium in Scotland, with a capacity of 60,411. Built in 1888, Celtic Park was transformed in the 1990s from an oval ground with vast terracing to the all-seater stadium it is today. With only the main stand remaining from the old design, it is dwarfed by the new stands, which form a continuous loop on three sides of the stadium. But this oddity gives the ground a certain charm, as well as link the club's historic past as the Celtic supporters continue to create spine-tingling atmospheres whenever their team plays in continental competition. 9. Siro Saracoglu, the home of Turkish giants Fenerbahce. The Siro Saracoglu Stadium in Istanbul is famed for its atmosphere and its ability to seemingly intimidate visiting teams. Originally opened in 1908, Fenerbahce Stadium has undergone extensive rebuilding along similar lines to Borussia Dortmund's Westfalenstadion, with each stand completely replaced in a renovation that finished in 2006. The result is a modern but traditional looking ground that holds over 50,000 fans. It's effectively a new stadium, but a very important one, as the Siro Saracoglu is the beating heart of Istanbul. 8. Stade Velodrome. The Stade Velodrome is the home of Olympique de Marseille, and a seating capacity of 67,394 makes it the largest stadium in France. Built in 1935, the Stade Velodrome has seen a lot of action over the years, and in addition to hosting home games for Olympique de Marseille, it's hosted rounds of the 1998 FIFA World Cup, the 2007 Rugby World Cup, and Euro 2016. Marseille supporters have cultivated a reputation for being amongst the noisiest and most passionate in France. With its impressive architecture, it is known for its roof, which is a unique white structure that looks like it gently rests on top of the stadium. In combination with the atmosphere it generates, this stadium finds itself among Europe's best. 7. Old Trafford. Old Trafford is home to one of England's biggest and most famous teams, Manchester United. The club is a brand that is known around the world thanks to a long record of success and a great marketing strategy in the 90s and early 2000s. It was first built in 1909, but has been developed further since, and it now has a capacity of 76,000 and looks much more modern than you'd expect from a 112-year-old stadium. The ground has undergone several transformations since its opening, but has retained its fear factor throughout the decades, and Sir Bobby Charlton called it the Theatre of Dreams, and it's definitely one of Europe's most iconic venues. 6. Anfield. Anfield is one of the older top-flight stadiums still being used in Europe today, but when it was completed back in 1884, it was home to Everton, but for most of its history, it's been the home of Liverpool FC. The storied home of Liverpool has seen plenty down the years, but Anfield retains an intimacy that is the envy of most of Europe. This reputation stems largely from the Cup, arguably the most famous end in world football. Liverpool rebuilt the Cup as a single-tier stand in 1994, holding 12,390 fans, but looking all the more imposing as one unified mass of fans. With a capacity of just over 54,000, Anfield is known for its dramatic European nights and breathtaking atmosphere, and is one rivals are wary of when taking on the Reds. 5. Signal Iduna Park. This deceptively large ground boasts the finest single stand in Europe, responsible for taking the breath away from millions around the world. From the outside, the Westfalenstadion has a sharp mechanical and industrial design, but it is the south stand's capacity for 25,000 standing fans which is the sight to behold. Famous for the fans within it, Dortmund's home may not be as colourful as rivals Bayern Stadium, but the atmosphere the fans create is second to none. Their yellow wall of fans is famous for the array of images that they have created and the noise they make. With a max capacity of 81,365 and the stadium's spectacular displays of yellow act as the backdrop to one of the most watchable European clubs of the modern era. 4. Allianz Arena. Built with the 2006 World Cup in mind, the Allianz Arena in Munich is a glorious example of a modern stadium and just what you can end up with if everything is done correctly. Able to hold 75,024 people, and with its distinctive feature of lighting up from the outside, the stadium is a fantastic piece of German engineering and a perfect setting for 21st century football. The beautifully designed arena is home to both Munich-based football teams, Bayern Munich and 1860 Munich, and it is the only stadium across Europe that can change colours to reflect which of the two teams are playing, red for Bayern and blue for 1860 Munich. The relatively new Allianz Arena will surely make a name for itself as one of the greatest stadiums in world football for years to come. 3. The San Siro. When you think of Italian football, you tend to think of the San Siro, the home of both AC Milan and Inter, which has provided the backdrop for plenty of Serie A storylines down the years. The distinctive corners of a ground which now holds 80,018 spectators makes it recognizable over the world. One of the most famous stadiums in all of Europe, its unique look from the outside with its red cantilever roof construction and spiral concrete pillars make it look almost space age, despite being constructed almost 100 years ago. Its intimidating and daunting nature for rival teams makes it one of Europe's best grounds, even with the drop-off of dominance from its resident teams in recent years. The San Siro is due to be torn down and rebuilt, but nothing will beat this magnificent ground. 2. The Santiago Bernabe. Real Madrid have been the most successful club in European football history, and probably the most glamorous as well. And so their home since 1947, the Santiago Bernabe is equally as impressive. With 85,454 seats, it is the second largest stadium in Spain, and it has many striking resemblances to the San Siro, with a grey and brown concrete exterior with spiral ramps on each corner, and can be an equally daunting experience for away teams. It has successfully hosted many memorable matches and has long since taken its place as one of the theatres of the European game. The Bernabeu feels like a tantalizing blend of the old and the new and will always be a symbol of European royalty, a hallmark of the famous club which calls this stadium home. 1. The Camp Nou. The largest football stadium in Spain and in Europe, the Camp Nou, home of FC Barcelona, has played host to some of the finest teams in the history of the beautiful game. Often described as a steep, sweeping ground, it was built in 1957 and expanded for the 1982 World Cup, eventually becoming a three-tiered arena and at one point capable of holding 122,000 fans until the standing places were removed. The new camp's present capacity is 99,354 all seated, but there are plans to increase this to over 100,000 as the club intends to modernize the stadium completely while addressing the lack of coverage by adding a new roof to all four sides of the stadium. One of the world's best, this stadium is befitting of Barcelona and its glamorous reputation. With many stadiums in Europe equally as impressive as those on our list, we could only choose 10. But the honorable mentions include Stamford Bridge, Luzhniki Stadium, Stade Louis II, Estadio da Luz, St. James's Park, the Emirates Stadium, Wembley, the Millennium Stadium, and the Mestalla. And there you have it, the Inswinger's 10 most iconic stadiums in Europe. I hope you enjoyed that one, and remember to like the video and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to the Inswinger for more football content. See you soon.